Hello students, welcome to the first class of the chemistry. Now in this pandemic situation, it is a demand of time to acquaint with the technology and new way of learning. Every way remains with the pros and cons. As a student of chemistry, a chemistry student who works with solutions. Solution in other way is a problem solver. And if you are the problem solver, then whatever the situation is, whatever the status is, whatever the demand of time is, you should be well acquainted to the demand of the time. No doubt. Difficulties will be there, but we are here to hunt for solution. Now, learning of chemistry for which you are here, and to measure your learning, measure your approach towards study, we do conduct the various tests or the new ways of evaluation may be followed. What will be the ways of evaluation? How we will understand whether you learn or not? You do not care now. At this moment, first pay attention towards your performance, towards your study, towards the understanding or cognizance of the chemistry. Once you achieve that step over there, next other things to come. There is a famous Bloom's pyramid or triangle. What Bloom said, first approach towards learning is rememorization or memorization, remembering the things. It's the first step towards the learning. Second step, whatever you remember that you should understand. Third step, whatever you understand that you need to apply. Fourth step, whatever you apply, within that, if any changes you need to brought about or new ways you want to follow, you are free to show your creativity. By creativity, you can improve your cadre of learning. So all those steps you have to follow. Then what is necessary? How should be your approach? Throughout here, new topics, new aspects of the chemistry you will study. How is our education system? You might have 10th pass, 12th pass, FYBSc, SYBSc pass. Are you sure? Whatever the syllabus of 12th standard chemistry was there, that you have completed? Okay, forget about the completion. 50% completed. Do you know the 50% syllabus of the 12th standard? How much you score? I am not asking about that. How much you did the score in that? That also I am not asking. Now I am asking whether you have studied that all the syllabus in the 12th standard. What about 11th standard? What about 10th standard? What about FYBSc, SYBSc? If you go through the past, you will find, I don't want that, but it is a reality. You will find your approach remain passing oriented or exam marks achieving oriented. Which things are needed to do in order to pass the subject, in order to clear the subject. That was your intention behind the study. That formula might have worked. You might have scored, you might have passed. But now you are with specialized subject, and that's a chemistry. If you have chosen the subject and you want to be graduate, you will be graduate in the subject of the chemistry, then the pattern that I said just now will no more give good results. For that, new strategies, planned strategies and implementation of the plan, actual work, execution, those things are very, very important one. If you want to do those things, if you want to achieve a lot in this year, if you want to use your time, if you want to use your potential, then what is needed to do? Students, three things are needed towards the learner. First, very, very strong desire to learn, to study, to achieve the task, to achieve the goal. Very, very strong desire is the first thing. And that should be within you. That can't be imbibed. That can't be purchased from the market. It should be within you. And you have to nurture the plant of the desire. That's your responsibility. Second thing you need to do, a lot of hard work. You should have tendency to do the work. Then only you will perform the work. If no tendency, then no approach. Again, tendency should be with you. It is nurturable. It is developable. But you have to work for that, to develop a tendency to do a hard work. Of course, automatically hard work can turn to the smart work. And third important thing, proper guidelines. If I understand the University of Mumbai and the teachings in the University of Mumbai in the various colleges affiliated to the University of Mumbai, so far you are getting best faculties in our department. Whoever teachers are there, they are expert in their resources. They can guide you effectively and properly. A wide range of experience is there with all teachers. And if you follow the guidelines, then nobody will snatch the success from you. You will be successful. Now, second thing, your mind setup. Whatever your goal may be. But if you do not have that mind setup, even if you are capable, you may not achieve the task. So for that, setting a mind to execute the task is very important. Then the question you will be with, how to set a mind? I give you the answer in two ways. Two steps that I inform that you need to follow. The first, be uncomfortable in a comfort, or be comfortable in uncomfort. Find comfort in the difficulty solving. Find comfort in the problem solving. Find comfort in the effort taking approach. Many, what do they say? Study is a boredom. Study is a difficult task. Memorization of reactions, remembering derivations, and a few properties of the chemicals and blah blah in the chemistry. This is a tedious task. So they run away from the chemistry learning, only exam oriented approach they do what give. What they find? They find uncomfort in doing those things. Just ask the question to yourself. When you came in FYBSc in this college, at that time, what was your approach towards chemistry? Was chemistry very easy? At that time, were basics clear to you? Now compare your situation of FY with SYBSc. As you came in the SYBSc, little bit your vision was broadened. You went on attempting to read the content and trying to digest or understand the content. You are trying to write the reactions. You are trying to write the derivations. You are trying to remember the things of the chemistry. And because of your attempt, what you might have noted, yes, you can do. So compared to FYBSc, in SYBSc, chemistry become little bit closer. Or you might have come closer to the chemistry. Now, you have chosen chemistry as a subject for the graduation. So if you want to continue the trend and you want to develop, just retrospect, just analyze. Why for in SYBSc you found chemistry is somewhat doable subject, chemistry is somewhat memorizable, chemistry is somewhat applicable, some creativity can be shown in the chemistry. It is because of your approach. As was your notion or as was your finding, as was your expectation, in FYBSc also chemistry was difficult. SYBSc also similar notion was there, but there was no alternative. We went on doing the things. Yes, doing the things is the solution. You should go on doing, you go on working, one time you get what the success. And in case if you come across the problem, you are free to approach to we teachers. We are your mentors. We will guide you. We will bring you on the proper track. So what to do for that? If study is uncomfortable, is difficult, is a problematic for you, then you should try to find comfort in doing those things. Don't expect a too easy things always. If you could able to do the work, one time you will get success, and your little success will be the booster to you. You can develop your confidence. So don't expect comfort always. Now you are in the student life, now you are in learnership. At that time, uncomfort is the best way for your the learning. Because of uncomfort, you will struggle to get a comfort, and lot many things you will achieve. One example I give it to you. Suppose if you put your head in a water, water is there in one the bucket, or water is there in one pool, and if you put your head in the water, you can't breathe, but oxygen is needed for you. Without oxygen, you will be uncomfortable. So if you want to come out, then you will try your level best to come out from the situation. When you will find the uncomfort, at that time your vigor to live, vigor to take the oxygen will be so drastically developed or improved, you will feel as if like you come, yes, it is life. Oxygen, how much is needed for the life, you will understand. Importance of the oxygen you will understand when you will find suffocation in a water. Friends, chemistry is so valuable, is important for you. Its study is important for you. So that will help you to prepare, to boost, to nurture your desire. So what I want to say, find comfort in the uncomfort during the learning of chemistry. So after uncomfort, next step is what? Comfort. Don't expect the comfort step at what? The beginning. It is a bit natural. Whatever the situation, you have to what? Accept it. Second thing I tell you to prepare the mind setup. Your why should be very loud to you, should be very clear to you. I explain this by giving one example. It was a day in February, 11th February 1990. There was a match between a world champion boxer Mike Tyson with the other boxer, a somewhat novice boxer, a new boxer, Douglas. And name of my story is Douglas the Boxer. Now what happened before the match? 6 months before this 11th February 1990, a match was declared between the Douglas and the champion Mike Tyson. One day when Douglas was in his gym at home only, means he was working for his fitness, he heard the words of the mother. Mother was telling to the neighbor, my son will win the match. He had just listened those words. Then 3 days before his actual match, his mother was admitted in the hospital and she could not respond to the medication. She was dead. It was shock for the Douglas. It was obstacle towards Douglas. It was emotional setback for the Douglas. But he was a professional boxer. Match was very planned in advance. So he need to come in the ring. And he came. Match started. Complete public, audience, commentator, even who were indirectly viewing the match, means through TV, all were supporting, all were cheering Mike Tyson, because Mike Tyson have proved himself in many matches and still he was fit, that he is a champion. And he was known for such an aggressive spirit of the boxing that generally 10 round remains in the boxing. If any boxer, means opponent, gets a knock and dare to stood up for one more chance, means in order to complete the all rounds, then very next round, it was a reputation of the Mike Tyson. He was going to give us such a knock, such a punch, that opponent may be near to lose the life. Opponent gets such a harsh injury that nearly goes to coma. It was the aggressiveness game of the Mike Tyson. And the match of Douglas was with the Mike Tyson. Douglas was also prepared to fight with the Mike Tyson. Fight started. Douglas tried to oppose the moves of the Mike Tyson. Partly he succeeded, but majoritarily Mike Tyson was giving a punch to him. Somewhere Mike Tyson was dominating. First round over, second round over, third round, fifth round, seventh round, and eighth round, near eighth round is going to finish, means some few minutes were there. Douglas gets a punch from the Mike Tyson and Douglas collapses. What remains in the boxing? Countdown remains. And at last, means 10, 9, 8, 7, likewise they come up to 1 and then the bell rings. So referee was going to count down. Countdown was in progress. As of a sudden, when number 3 came, 2 came, suddenly Douglas stood up. Before the bell rings, he was completely on his feet to have a second inning of fight with Mike Tyson in the same match. Audience was surprised because when Douglas got a punch and he was knocked down, at that time complete public was saying Tyson, Tyson, Tyson. I mean, they were expecting Tyson will win the match and Douglas will not stood up, because in case if he dare to stood up, then chances are there Tyson will give us such a knock, such a punch that he will be harshly injured. So it's better to remain fall, better to remain not to stood, better to remain not to challenge again the Mike Tyson in the same fight. But as soon as Douglas stood up, the reaction of the audience was, oh, even commentators also were surprised why he stood up. Before to start that fight in that 8th round, the timing of the 8th round was over. 9th round completed, 10th round. Actually, it is not a joke to stretch the match up to the 10th round. Both fighters were tired. But in 10th round, the performance of Douglas was somewhat surprising to all. Douglas becomes somewhat more aggressive compared to the Mike Tyson. Douglas has given, after the few minutes, 3 successive punches to the Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson fall down. Countdown started. Mike Tyson was immediately trying to wake up, but he could not. At last, referee declared Douglas won the match. It was a fabulous performance from the Douglas. Surprising performance from the Douglas. When the match was over, from the ring remains, out of the ring when the Douglas came, reporter took the interview of the Douglas and asked Douglas, what happened in the last round, 10th round? You were somewhat different. Previous Douglas was, you were not there. You were somewhat different. You became very aggressive. Your game was also improved. What happened there? He said, when in the 8th round Mike Tyson has given the punch to me, I fall down. At that time, suddenly the history was recalled. Before 6 months when I was in the gym at home, I heard the word of the mother, that my mother was saying my son will win the match, and 3 days before she said goodbye to me and all word. When I fall down, at that time only 2 options were for me. I should accept my defeat and allowing myself to lay down there only without next attempt. Second option was not allowing the word of the mother to fall down, catching the word and standing to fight again with the Mike Tyson. I had chosen the second option. My why was very loud for me. My why was very clear for me. Therefore, I could show the good performance, a different performance, surprising performance, aggressive performance in the 10th round. Yes, students. If you also want to show your good performance, your why should be very, very clear to you. So it is your responsibility. The work that I am giving to you today, just find your why. If your why is very clear cut, then nobody will stop you from the work. And if why is blurred, then any problem can obstacle, any problem can defeat you, and your work will get hampered. Now you should decide whether to allow the work get hampered by the situation or do not get hampered by any situation if your why is very clear. Is it clear?